Welcome to Ask Yourself Why Not, the podcast where two friends read a lot of self-help books, listen to a lot of podcasts, and talk it out with each other and our community.
So we can all feel better in real life without the pressure to fix ourselves.
We're your hosts,
Shaye
and Jayla,
and we're really glad you're here. What's up, Why Notters?
What is up?
This is Shaye.
This is Jayla.
And this is the
Ask Yourself Why Not podcast. Place you come where you stop asking yourself why.
And you start asking yourself, why not?
Yes, so real quick, just a recap of what we've been talking about with Empower Fest. Coming up, June 27th, 9 to 2. We are excited for it. It's at Waterfront Hall again, where tickets are going to go on sale probably in May sometime.
Yeah, probably early May. Sponsorship opportunities available now.
Yes, swag bag opportunities, which means you can throw a sample or a product or any kind of, something to promote you and your business if you would like to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time you hear this, we have all of our experience stations and vendors taken care of. But if not, if you are listening and you're curious on being an attendee as a vendor or an experience station, please reach out. We do have a little bit of extra space this year.
Yeah, and the day will flow a little differently. We're not involving exercise this year. We decided to do an exercise sampler event on a different day.
At my studio.
Yes, wait till you guys see what she is cooking up at this Charmed Realty Collective. It's going to be awesome. But the day's going to kind of flow. You'll come in. You'll have the opportunity to sign up for experience stations. Usually you get between 4 to 6 experience stations, and those can be anything from like mini facials to tarot card readings, just some really cool, unique businesses around.
And then we'll also have some vendors there selling all kinds of goodies for you to take some things for you, but maybe buying something for a loved one.
Yeah. Love it. So still working on the details for that, but more to come. Mark your calendars, June 27th.
Yes. So we're going to get down in the nitty gritty. We're going to be talking about insults, being insulted, even if they're backhanded and they're not direct, right?
Oh, yeah.
How you can use an insult coming at you, or, maybe something just not, or maybe just someone's opinion that is not wanted or not warranted.
But they decided to share it.
But they decided to share it because they feel like that you need to hear that because other people may think this too.
It's so wonderful when that happens.
But we're talking and bringing awareness and saying, maybe it's a direction. Maybe it's an arrow pointing you towards a different route. And I'll tell you, I know myself. And I can think of a couple pivotal moments in my life where I maybe not was insulted directly, but I was told something that really just didn't sit right with me, and I didn't feel like it was something that should be said. And I'll give an example because I speak about this in our speaking of events that we do. When I first started in real estate, you have to work under a broker. So you have to interview with brokers and they have to sponsor you to take your test. The first one that I ever interviewed for, and let me just paint the picture, guys. I was just at home I was just a stay-at-home mom for I think 6 years. And I don't mean like it's nothing. I'm just saying I was not working. I did not have an occupation. And I was going back into the workforce. And this first broker, the entire lunch meeting I had with him, probably told me at least 6 times. And, not in his words, but what he was saying is that I needed to put my license in escrow for the first year because I had young kids and it was really hard to be a working young mother in this profession. And what it means to put your license in escrow as a real estate professional, ladies and gentlemen, it means your license is active, but you can't sell anything. So he was basically telling me I needed to shadow my first year because it was too hard for women with young children.
Yeah.
And I left that interview so mad. I was like crying, but it was like anger tears. And I tell you what, that lunch meeting that I had, and I don't really feel in my heart that he was trying to tear me down by no means. Like he was just in his ways, an older gentleman. He has lots of family members.
Different viewpoint of the world.
Different viewpoint. I don't think it was intentional, but it was something that came to me and probably not the way he was expecting. And I'm telling you, I think about that moment all the time because I have been very successful in my career. And I tell you, my first year, I carried an infant carrier to all of my appointments as
Yeah.
I had a baby.
You
breastfeeding
used
for,
it as
I
fuel.
was breastfeeding for the first year.
Mhm.
Speaking of this because I know we have our women listeners out there and
Mhm.
that you can probably resonate with something like that as like a pivotal moment. And I think of that and I swear it was a fire lit under me. And I was just deemed to just prove him wrong.
Absolutely. That's a really good example. And you used it to like kind of shine light onto that quote unquote insult and say, that's not me. I don't know what you're
I
talking about.
remember when I was not rude to him, but I still think of this. I know myself and I looked at him and I said, I'm the type of person that if I want to do something, I'm going to do it.
Mm,
And that's just how some of us are,
yeah.
right?
It's kind of like we were saying the other day, like hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Oh my
Tell
yes,
us you
right?
can't do something and then we'll do it. I've been told before that I try too hard.
Mm,
That sticks with me because that's like a backhanded compliment too.
yes.
What do you want me to do? Try less?
You want me to try less?
You want me to work a little less?
Well, recently I was told that I talk too much
That's a good one.
and that
Mm.
they needed to tell me that because they're sure that other people probably thinks that too, but they just don't want to tell me.
Mm.
But you know what? Yes, it stung in the moment, but then I thought about it. I don't know many realtors that don't talk too much. There's a couple that I'll joke with and I'll say, I know every time you call me, we get to chatting. I got to make sure I have an hour on my clock. You know what I mean? And it's like a big joke. It's,
Well, because you
just,
work by yourself most of the day, you know?
yes. And you're just accustomed to being on the phone.
Yeah, when you're in the car, like I'll call people that I work with too, and we'll talk for 30, 45 minutes. I don't even talk to my brother for that long. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
It's wild. I had an experience too, and this was like it was like over COVID when the world changed and business had changed. I had
We
some
all didn't like know what to do with our hands. Like we
well,
didn't know what to
yeah,
do.
my job did not look the same like
Mm-mm.
everybody else's,
Mm-mm.
right? Hospitals were shut down and I am a pharmaceutical rep and I had somebody and I was nervous because this person wanted to come and spend time with me in the field and it was just not really possible at that time
Mhm.
to get clients to meet with you. And I was very nervous and I didn't quite know how to like communicate it. And he was like, when I talk to you, it's like I'm talking to somebody that's new to the industry and doesn't know what they're doing. And I was like, I literally I'm not confrontational, but like at that moment, it took my breath away. And I was like, no, it's because I don't know what to do with you. The whole
Right.
world has shut down,
Mhm.
kind of a deal. And you're making me uncomfortable with what you're asking me to do. And so that was the moment where I was like, I'm no longer here to please others. I'm
No.
going to speak confidently about what I know in my
Yeah.
business, and I'm going to set boundaries so that, it's not appropriate for you to come now.
Yes. And
So,
I guess one thing to mention is, we're not saying when I say it light a fire under me, it's not that I'm like set out to prove they're wrong, but it's like I know what I can do. I know
yeah,
my
shines a light
competence.
on what you can do.
uh, I know my competence and myself and my ability, like you
Yeah.
said, So it's almost kind of like you use that information because it's like if something's sticking with you, why?
Hmm.
Why is it sticking?
Exactly. Why did that hurt a little bit
Mhm.
when they said
Is
that?
it something that you've been having imposter syndrome around?
Mhm.
Because I'll tell you, when I was going back into the workforce, of course I had that thought in the back of my
Yeah.
head, like it's going to be hard because I have 3 young children,
I had a friend
you
say to
know?
me when I had Davis' new mom, didn't mean anything. I think it was a dig, but it was like, don't put your kids in daycare
Oh gosh,
because
yeah.
whatever you do, just don't put your kids in daycare, kind of a thing. And I was like, I almost wasn't gonna put them in daycare. I was like trying to look for home care, and then I thought, no, like that is what this is for, and they're regulated. And there's
Yeah.
if someone's having a bad day, there's someone else there, and they get socialization, and it ended up being a blessing. Daycare was a blessing for us,
Yes.
in the grand scheme of things. But it was something that for somebody else, like they had to share with me,
Yes.
not to do that, if that makes sense.
And like another thing you can think about too, and this is what I do. Of course we're human and we're going to dissect the thing that's said to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to look for validation if that's true. Why did they say this to me?
Mm.
But instead of thinking that, you can think, is there something here that I can use? Like, where can I use this information?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when someone tells me I talk too much, I can think of so many instances where I really pushed and got something done that if I didn't push and had open, constant communication, it wouldn't have got done.
Yeah, and the guy that said to me that I was trying too hard, what I took from that is I'm a hard worker. Period. If you don't like that, if that makes you uncomfortable, that has nothing to do with me. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And versus playing the victim role where you're like, I'm coming across as a tryhard. I don't have to
Yes.
prove myself to anybody.
So if you're receiving information and it may not be an insult, it may just be something that it makes you uncomfortable.
A couple other ones that we've gotten over the years are, you're all over the place. And Jayla and I get that a lot. And I'm sure some of you do too, who are just like busybodies all over the community.
You're too much.
Yeah. What you can translate that to when somebody says that to you is you can translate that to you have a lot of ideas, you have a lot of interests, you have a lot of energy. And you can fuel yourself by saying, maybe I don't need to be less. Maybe I just need to redirect myself, or maybe I just need a little direction with all of my amazing
Or
energy.
if someone says something, I don't know, like, must be nice.
Oh, I love that.
You know what?
Yeah.
Really think about it and turn it into gratitude.
Yeah.
It is nice, right?
Yeah, must be nice means you can translate that to I made time for that. Maybe I want more of that energy. This one is another one I get. I could never wake up that early. You know what? I don't love waking up that early either.
No.
But at the end of the day, I love starting my day. It's like the new social hour for women our age. It's the time we can kind of like, no, we don't have any responsibilities and anywhere else to be. And it's not that like, I love that, but it is something that I'm proud that I'm able to do for myself. So that's all.
Now I'm rethinking when I tell people I could never stay up that late.
Exactly. Maybe that's their time. And a couple people I know it is. Like,
Yeah.
I have a friend that I work with, Tim. He's like, that's my time. I go downstairs and I chill, by myself.
I'm shut down. If I am up after 10, I should not be.
Oh, Jayla, you can probably relate to this one too. You've changed.
Oh my gosh, right? Aren't we supposed to?
Right. You're growing beyond what's familiar.
I mentioned in the last episode about how I feel in this stage of my life is like you're craving, a constant, consistent, but you're constantly adapting to keep something consistent. Like you're adapting. I feel like we're just in a blender and there's just things being thrown at us.
Another kind of insult too that we get is you can't do it all. I've definitely heard that before. But what they're doing is they're looking at you and projecting their limits. Do you remember, like, people will say when we're doing all these things, like, I'm worried about you. And I hate that. It just makes me want to do more because my fuel for that is like, I can do it all.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to do what I want to do, what I value.
Yes. When I opened my own company, shortly after, I had someone say, is it everything or is it what you thought it would be? Is it what you thought it would be? And
no, it's
you know
not.
what? And I said, I haven't even really got started yet.
Yes, exactly.
Because I haven't. I actually was just talking to my husband about how exciting it is to think that we are not even to a point to where we can grow our businesses yet.
Yeah.
Because we're crazy. And I know people look at us as crazy because we're literally opening 3 businesses at once.
Right.
And it's okay.
Yeah. Is it everything you thought it would be?
Is it what you thought it would be?
And that's a really good one because that's like I hope that you're suffering kind of comment.
Yeah.
That's an interesting, I've had that before too when you've changed jobs because the grass isn't always greener. We get that phrase and I get that, but the grass is different. And sometimes you want different grass, right?
Yes. And I guess too, guys, I do want to back up and say,
we're a little feisty.
I'm not talking ill on anybody because a lot of these instances are things that are said. I don't think someone is like, I'm going to hurt Jayla's feelings and I'm going to say this to her. But it's how we react and why are we reacting the way we're reacting? It's like taking a look at ourselves and seeing like, why is this bothering me?
Why does this sting?
Why is this sting? Why is this bothering me? How can I use this information to benefit me, to make me grow somewhere?
Yeah, I think for me, those comments, they hurt me because I was always such a people pleaser. And I knew it, but at the end of the day, that doesn't get me anywhere. So I
Yeah.
have learned to kind of set those boundaries, speak up for myself in a different tone, right? It's
Yeah.
all about you and what you're supposed to
Yes.
learn in this
And if
life.
you're listening and you're like, well, Jayla, you said this to me 2 years ago. I am so sorry,
I'm
girl.
sorry. I know I've said things and I'll catch myself and I don't mean it. Like I felt really bad the other day. I was walking with a teacher and she's a wonderful teacher. Her son and my son play soccer together. And I said, hey, if you ever see me up here, let's walk. I was like, there's a beautiful trail behind there. And she was like, yeah, I like to use this time to like grade papers because I've refused to bring it home with me.
Yeah.
And then I said, which was not good,
Yeah.
but I said, yeah, I said something like, yeah, because we got to look at what we get paid and we don't want to like, and then I was like, I walked right into it.
Oh,
But I didn't mean it by it.
meanwhile,
So
teachers are the most underpaid profession.
1000%.
I
And that's kind
know.
of what I meant to say. And then I just like walked right into it. So I get it. People say things they don't mean it.
Oh, I do
I
too.
probably fueled her fire.
No, I mean, we are all guilty and we all want to, crack jokes and make light of
Right.
things.
We're trying
just
to connect.
Yeah, but you just never know. And I am aware that just like with me and my husband, I realize that I can stress him out so easy.
Mm.
You know how people make to-do list and they write it down? Me, I just spitfire him out of my mouth first thing in the
Mhm.
morning. He'll come downstairs, hasn't even had a cup of coffee yet, and I'll be like, "Hey, did you make that sign? Hey, did you get that deed for me? Hey, did
Did you
you?"
deposit this check?
But honestly, that's me making to-do list, and when I realized that I do that, I told him that, and it has helped so much because I said, "Listen, I can understand where it can come across as, like, nagging, but instead of me taking a pen to a paper,
Mhm.
I'm voicing it out loud, and that is how I get things done."
Yeah.
You know? So it's just things that you just learn about yourself too,
Yes.
right?
Right. Exactly. So
That's not necessarily saying anything insulting, but it's like just something how I communicate can be perceived as, nagging.
yeah.
I understand that. And I do that in my job too,
Mhm.
Maybe I just talk too much, guys.
That one's going to stick with you for a while. And guess what? We're never going to stop talking.
Freak no.
I mean, that was the old phrase of girls growing up. Let's be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
That is no longer where we are.
I see this meme and this popping up all the time, and it's like checking in with your teachers who told you, you talk too much in class, and then look at your occupation
Yeah.
now, like all you do is talk. And I see realtors making that meme and reel all the time, and it is true. Like,
Mhm.
I talk a lot, but there's some people that don't talk enough, It's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyways, if somebody insults you, you can even ask ChatGPT to turn it around for you, and it
Yeah.
may be able to help you because she's amazing sometimes.
Or just talk it out with a friend.
Go on a walk, like all those, again, going back to that quote about other hits of dopamine, movement, good fuel for your body.
Good food.
And what was the other one? It was movement, fuel, and
Communication.
Community.
Connection.
Yeah,
Connection.
Take a walk with a friend.
Yes.
And then have a salad. Yeah, so that's our podcast for the day. So hopefully it was helpful for you. I hope you guys have a great day. This is
the
Ask Yourself Why Not podcast.
That sounds like a struggle.